Hello guys, Mr. Max here, and today is gonna be a bit of a addendum to my last video, but also a reply to David Stewart. David Stewart is a YouTuber I followed for a long time. He made a video about why he did set up a home gym, and that's not typical of his content. He usually talk about writing stuff or he do media review, but there was a video he made that I find interesting and right in my alley. So I'm gonna talk about this setting up a home gym. And because as you said, as you've seen, that's where I train lately. This is a setup that I have in my office, and like I talked in my last video, when like David Stewart talked in his video, when the gym environment become toxic, training from home can be a good alternative. There are some drawback to building up your own gym. The first one I would point out is that it makes it harder to have a gym partner. I talked about the importance of having a gym partner, that how it can be good for motivation and also allows you to do stuff that you wouldn't be able to do alone. And you can also have a spotter, stuff like that. And when you're training at home, that can be a little bit more difficult. If you have a friend that lives nearby that is willing to come to your place, then that's great. But for many, that's going to be a little bit more touchy. Another drawback of the home gym, obviously, is that they take place. You need to have the room for it. Here, I get rid of some clutter, and then I could have a free some space in my office to put my squat rack. As you see on the ground, they're on those black mat. They're cow mat that are 4x6, so 4 feet by 6 feet. There's two of them, so the whole footprint of the setup is basically 8 feet by 6 feet, plus a little space there for the weight stand, but that's not much at all. And you need some room to move around, but you need to have the space that you can free up. Maybe you have space in your garage that you're not fully using. Maybe, and we all get like a bunch of clutter if you have a home, stuff like that. We always have a bunch of clutter that we can get rid of to make some space. If you live in an apartment, that can be more difficult, obviously. Another drawback of the home gym is that they're more costly. The initial investment is much higher. Uh, Training equipment is expensive. Gym membership are expensive as well, but you pay them like every year or every month depending on your. So it's over time. While with gym equipment, usually you have to pay up front. You can, however, start small and add stuff over time. That's actually what I did as well. And finally, a fourth drawback of the home gym is that they're always going to be more limited than a good commercial gym. You're not going to have all the machine that a commercial gym would have, so you can have like make do what you have. That being said, they do have a lot of advantage, especially like a guy like me. Why I do train in the home gym, especially in the winter. I live pretty remote in a remote location. Just going to the gym takes me a half an hour drive, and then half an hour to come back. So that's an hour there, and I haven't touched a weight yet. So when you want to go, you also have to go long enough for a big enough session that you're gonna make the most out of it, and then you're gonna try to compact your training in a few times a week. When you got the home gym, you can train whenever you want. You can train for as long as you want. You just want to do a few sets of a bench or a few sets of whatever. You just set up your stuff. You do it. If that's all you do today, well, at least you did something. That can also be like a trap that you always like. Oh, I can do that tomorrow, but it does change the mindset how you train. It's also when you're ready to train. Well, you just change. You get in your training clothes, train, and then that's it. You don't have to plan much more than that. You can also train while you do other stuff sometimes. Especially when you train powerlifting. Oftentimes between sets, you're gonna take 3, 5 minutes sometime when you go heavy and stuff like to recover a bit. And the setup is in my office, so I can work on something while I rest between my set. So it's a bit more efficient. You also can control the environment, like the temperature, the music, what you watch, what you do. That's another big advantage. What I do have in my own gym, the squat rack. I think the squat rack is one that is important to get. It is the priciest of all the equipment. Although there are now options that are quite affordable, and it's a very versatile piece of equipment. You can bench in it, you can squat in it, and I deadlift in it. It doesn't do anything, but it reserves the space. I just need to take out the safety bar, move out the bench, and then it's the space I can deadlift in. You might have seen in my other videos. So squat rack is and also it's a big safety equipment. Some people are gonna go with the if you go with the stand, you're missing out a lot. If you go with a half rack, then the half rack are less versatile. So I would say if you want to set up and if you do have the room, go with a full rack with a full cage. And with this configuration, I got the bar in the back there. I can do pull up from there. I got this bar here that you just off camera. I don't know if I can tilt up a bit. This bar here, it's a different combination of grip for different type of pull up and chin up and stuff like that. The bench, it's a Amstaff flat bench that I use for my regular bench, and I got the inclinable bench. Those I both bought from Amazon. I wait when there was a good deal. I got them pretty cheap. The Amstaff I like a lot because it's sturdy and the size or fit the regulation size for bench in powerlifting. I think it's in length it's off by 1 inch. I think too long or too short, something like that. I don't remember exactly, but length is the least important size in my opinion. Then you need a bar. This is a pretty cheap bar. Does the job for what I do with it now. Eventually that's something I'd like to upgrade, but for now it's good enough. And you need some weight. And the weight is something you can buy over time. Usually if you can get a good deal, you can be able to get them for $1 a plate, sometimes $1.50. Now they're much more expensive than they used to be. And this is something if you live where there's people around. Here there's nobody around, so it's hard to get used stuff. But this is something you can find used quite often. I also got the, as I said, I got the car mat on which everything rests, protect the floor a bit, and it give a better. It's a good grip when you try to bench or squat or deadlift, and you need to use some leg drive or put some torque in your leg. This doesn't slip, so it's a good surface to train in. And I got a set of cheap dumbbell that you can adjust with the weight and stuff like that. Just with this equipment, you can do a lot. It's pretty basic, but if you imaginative, you can do a lot. One good thing to have as well is one of those dip belt. This is a very cheap one. I think it's 14 bucks Canadian on Amazon. And with that, with the place to do pull up and chin up, you can do a lot. You can train your shoulder a lot and your upper body a lot too. I also use it for belt squat. I put some kitchen chair, like just regular wooden kitchen chair, and I stand on them, and I can like those kind of chair actually. So nothing special there. I get 2 of those. I put them inside the rack like this. I move out the bench, and then I can stand on them, one on each side, and I can do some belt squat, which is an exercise I like a lot. You just have the weight hanging out from between your leg, and then you squat down, and you come back up. You do a few sets of like that. It's a good exercise to train you to stay squat down in a straight line. Otherwise, the weights start moving around, stuff like that, and that's a problem. Next thing you wanna, if you got your cage, and if you got your bench, stuff like that, next thing you want to look at, I would say, is one of those. this is a pulley that you can attach on the squat rack, and then it does have on one end those well, this is the rope. I got bar and I got little handle as well. You got a very you got different accessories coming with it, and on the other end you got the spin here. Spin, you can put those same weight there, the Olympic style, or if you remove the sleeve there, you can go with the non-Olympic style, but with the 1-inch hole. But with the sleeve, you can use the Olympic size weight. You can put a stack of weight there, and then you can do your pull down, cable pull down. You can do your face pull. You can do your overhead. You can do all kind of stuff. If you have that's something I don't have on my rack here, but if you have a bar on a transversal bar on the bottom as well, then you could use 2 pulleys and do your anything that you need to pull the weight up. Of course, those you can often do with dumbbell, and that's fine. One thing I'm missing here, to be honest, is something to train the lower bodies. So I can do like the belt squat, I can do the regular squat, the deadlift, sumo deadlift, all those kind of things that you don't need much. You can go with the Romanian squat. There's still a lot you can do for lower body, but you know, there's no leg press, and it's not gonna be tomorrow that I'm gonna get a leg press machine here. It's like that; those take a lot of place. Leg extension, leg curl, they're all a bit more complicated to do than working the upper body. I do also have a rowing machine. It's in a different room, so those also hit the leg a bit, but it's also good for cardio. That's a good thing to have. Like I joke sometimes about cardio, like I don't know what it is, but actually I do like rowing quite a lot. You wouldn't tell, but I think the heart is a muscle you want to train as well. So this was just a little tour of my setup there, and to tell you like this, yeah, if you don't want to be exposed to a woman basically like, you know, in their underwear, if you don't want to be exposed to douchebag, if you don't want to have to travel, like especially like I said here, now it's the winter with the snowstorm and ice storm and stuff like that, I can just train whenever I want here. Having a home gym, if you got the room for it, it's not that expensive, and over time it even becomes cheaper than the regular gym, because regular gym is gonna be a few $100 every year. So you can put that on investing in stuff you own then after. Of course, there's also like you need to have the discipline to use it. That's also one thing, bringing it in the office and make it very easy for me to just get into it. But that's what I want to talk about, guys. I'll put a link to David's video down below. And have a good day. Take care.